seniors are working at historic levels. Did you view this by any chance?
Yeah, I think they talked about 20% of people 65 and older in the workforce is the highest since June 1961. It's almost a 20% increase since December. Don't you think this is just going to keep increasing? They kind of show it'll further increase by 2028.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just going to have to work longer because some people want to, I'm sure, and can't let go, but a lot of people are going to have to for financial reasons.
I think that's right. I do wonder what sort of jobs they are working.
If you run the numbers on, Charlie Ellis wrote this book on retirement, and I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but he basically said, listen, if you're someone who started late, and a lot of people probably did, started in their 40s or 50s, if you just start saving then, so here it is. He says, if you delay retirement from age 62 to 70, that could reduce your annual savings rate by more than 2/3. And if you then put off your Social Security because you're working longer, that also increases. And he said basically taking those together, basically pushing back when you retire by 8 years, and then pushing back your Social Security could increase the savings rate that you need. It could decrease it substantially. And so I think for a lot of people, it's almost a double whammy of putting off the time you're going to have to draw down your portfolio or your Social Security, and just not having enough assets in the first place, and it gives you more time to build them up and compound, hopefully.
So here's another stat. 2.6% unemployment rate for seniors in December 2019, which is below the national average of 3.5%. So I guess it looks like seniors who want to work are finding work. Here's the thing.
That's actually surprising to me that would be a lower number.
Me too. So people talk a lot about retirement, and there's this thing that you see fairly regularly about I'm never going to retire. I can't imagine myself retiring. I would be so bored. I would be this. I will do that.
Yes, I think I said something similar to that recently.
Did you? Okay. I think that people have a complete inability to predict how they're going to feel in 30 years. I have much different opinions at 35 than I did at 25. And I imagine at 45 and 55 and 65, my opinions of what I want to do with my time will change also.
Yes, I agree. It's impossible to guess what other people are going to do, but I think it's even harder to guess how you're going to change. And I wrote about this a few months ago. Like, the behavioral psychology term is escaping me, but every time we get to a certain level in life, we think we've hit that peak maturity. In that in the past we were crazy and we did all these things we never would do again, but now this is gonna be us forever.
Daniel Pink writes about that a lot, and I wanted to actually. This reminds me. I was thinking about this yesterday. What is like the final version of you? And I guess there really never is one. But let's say that somebody is 25 years old and they want to put off having children because, forget about financial reasons. Let's say that somebody is a good earner and just really enjoys, is at a good spot in their life. And they say, you know what, I'm 30, but I don't want to have kids until I'm 40. Just in a perfect world, whatever. I don't want to have kids until I'm 40. And they really, really love their 30s. It's the best decade of their life. Like they're traveling, they're making money, they're doing well in their career and all those sort of things, and they view it as like the best decision they ever made, right? Because you don't get those years back. Those are some of your best years. And then they have kids at 40, and everything's great. But then, they're 75 and they're sick and they know that their time is running out, and that person regrets not having kids earlier. But I was wondering, is that a valid form of regret? Because on the one hand, you have a 75-year-old who feels legitimate regret, or however old they are. You have a person who feels actual regret, but also earlier in their life, they felt a different way. So how do you square those two circles?
This is getting kind of deep here. I don't. Unfortunately, I think some people are always going to regret the path not taken. And then there's those people who say, well, I never regret any decision because it got me to where I am.
I don't know. This made my head hurt. It was just an interesting sort of thought exercise. Like, what version of you takes priority? Is it the final one before you pass, looking back, or is it the one where you're in your best years? I don't know.
Well, I've changed my thoughts in terms of a personal finance thought process on this, especially in recent years since having kids. In terms of before I think I put too much emphasis on saving, and I think a lot of people in the finance realm do that maybe to their own detriment sometimes. And that's why if you're in a good position and you have saved and invested, one of the hardest things to do is turning that mindset off and going the other way and figuring out how to spend and enjoy it. But I also think that I've tried to turn around and figure out ways that I can just enjoy it more now. So there's a lot of people who have a harder time delaying gratification for whatever reason. That always came a little easier to me. But I also, now that I have kids, like, realize that the time, like, the clock is ticking, and it's like I don't want to just save everything for when I retire and then miss out on all the things now.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the blessing that I feel having lost my mother, is that it really, like, hit me so hard not to be irresponsible and blow all your money because tomorrow's not guaranteed, but really to live today because you don't know, and not to be, like, corny or anything. But I think it's hard to find the balance between spending today and saving for tomorrow. And there was a video this morning on Yahoo about f.i.r.e. And what do you think? Why do you think there is, like, a visceral backlash to it?
I think the problem is that they do these pieces and they show, like, these young hip people, like, walking on hiking trails with their sunglasses, talking about how, we really don't live that frugally. It hasn't been that difficult for us. All it took was a mindset change to go from our 6-figure jobs and no kids to retiring by age 38. And it's just so easy. Anyone can do it. And that whole anyone can do it thing, I definitely these days can, like, it just gives me a greater appreciation for understanding why there's a lot of people out there who can't force themselves to save.
What do you mean?
Like, especially since I have kids now, I understand how people could just put all their energy and time and resources into their kids and not have enough left over for themselves. I can see that. So I think when people go and show, like, I retired at age 37 and here's how anyone can do it. Just follow these 4 easy steps. And it's never that easy for people to reach that point.
I think that nails it. Like, obviously, I think that people should do whatever they want and should live their life. And if they want to retire early, like, fantastic. But I think that's the point, is that the here's how you can do it type thing, I don't know, it's icky.
I'm more along the lines of here's how I did it, and maybe you can take some lessons away from our experience. But I just don't like when people say it's easy, because it's never easy, because everything is so situational and circumstantial that you just never know that sometimes people are just born on third base and life is way easier for them than people in other situations that haven't had the same luck or the same position socially or financially as others have.
Here's the flip side. Obviously, we're very lucky. We love our jobs. It seems to me that everything I've seen of this f.i.r.e. movement is people that are generally unhappy in their work. Right? And I don't know what that's, I mean, luckily, I don't know what that's like. So I would imagine if you're really killing yourself over work and you have a high salary, maybe f.i.r.e. does seem like a good path.
Yes, I can definitely see it. I just don't like the way that a lot of people in that realm look down on others. And there's been some good ones. There was one on the Long View with Jeff Attack and Christine Benz the other day. Chris Mamula, I think is the guy's name. And he talked about it he was very upfront about talking about, this is the way I did it, but I know not everyone can go this way. So not everyone in that space is thumbing their noses and showing people how easy it is. But I think that's one of the problems people have with it.
Yeah.
Is just saying, like, listen, saving 80% of your income and retiring in 10 years is easy. Everyone should do it.
Right.
That's just not a great.
Well, we haven't spoken about this in a while. I expect, last time we did, we got quite a bit of feedback. So
both sides of the aisle, there are definitely strong feelings.
There's strong feelings here.